Welcome. Tonight, this story is for the ones whose lives are softening. The ones who have begun, sometimes without quite realizing it, to notice the color of light at certain hours. The ones who have started to want their meals slower, their music quieter, their evenings longer. The ones who have been, in some quiet inward way, falling in love with the world again. If you are inside your Venus Mahadasha, this episode is for you. If your Venus period is approaching, this episode is for you too. And if you have lived through one already, and remember the long sweetness of it, the slow opening of the senses, the friendships that deepened, the rooms you spent years arranging just so, you are welcome here as well. Before we begin, give yourself a moment. There is no rush. Venus has never asked anyone to hurry. Tonight, we move at the speed of unfolding petals. Let your shoulders drop just a little. Notice the weight of your head against the pillow. Notice the soft warmth at the base of your skull. Notice the temperature of the air on your face. Notice the small, soft rise and fall of your breath, without trying to change it. You don't have to do anything for the next half hour. You don't have to follow this perfectly. If your mind drifts towards someone you love, or towards something you find beautiful, let it drift. Venus does not mind the wandering. Venus encourages it. Take a slow breath in through your nose, and let it out through soft lips, longer than the inhale. Again, slower this time. Let your belly rise gently as the air comes in. Let your shoulders fall as the air goes out. And one more. Let your jaw soften. Let your tongue rest gently behind your teeth. Let the small muscles around your eyes go quiet. Let your hands open very slightly where they rest beside you. One last breath. Let it be the slowest one yet. Notice how the air feels at the tip of your nose as it enters. Notice the small pause at the top of the inhale. Notice how the body, when given permission, knows how to rest. Good. Now settle in. In the old Vedic tradition, the night sky was mapped into 9 influences. 7 of them are bodies you can see: the sun, the moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter,
Venus,
Saturn. The other 2 are points, mathematical shadows called Rahu and Ketu. Tonight we sit with Venus. Venus is the brightest planet in the sky. Brighter than any star. Bright enough sometimes to cast a faint shadow on a dark country road. The ancients in every tradition watched her, and they noticed something. Venus appears at 2 of the most beautiful hours of the day. Just before sunrise, she is the morning star, hanging low in the east while the world is still blue and quiet. Just after sunset, she is the evening star, the first light to appear in the dusk, before any of the others. She is the planet of thresholds, of beautiful in-between hours, of the soft seam between night and day. In Sanskrit, Venus is called Shukra. The word means bright, lustrous, the white pearl shine of clear water under sunlight. Shukra is the teacher of poetry, of music, of the visual arts, of perfumery, of love and the long, slow craft of relationship. Shukra is the part of you that knows what is beautiful and what is not. The part of you that pauses in front of a flower for no reason. The part of you that arranges a room. The part of you that remembers the exact way the kitchen smelled when your grandmother was alive. The part of you that loves, without needing the loving to make any practical sense. In the system called Vimshottari Dasha, each of the 9 influences holds the steering of your life for a number of years. The sun for 6, the moon for 10, Mars for 7, Rahu for 18, Jupiter for 16, Saturn for 19, Mercury for 17, Venus for 20, and Ketu for 7. 20 years. Of all the Mahadashas, Venus is the longest. 2 full decades given over to one teacher. The teacher who says, slow down, notice, taste, be touched, The teacher who insists that a life worth living is a life that has been tasted and not just managed. Many people, when they hear that Venus is sweet, expect a Venus Mahadasha to be effortless. 20 years of pleasure, 20 years of beauty, 20 years of ease. The truth is closer to this. Venus is sweet, yes, but Venus is also a careful teacher, and the teaching of Venus is a slow refinement of taste. By the end of the 20 years, you do not want what you wanted before. Your appetite itself has been changed. That is the deepest curriculum. Not the pleasures themselves, but the shape of the heart that receives them. Now imagine this. You are walking in the late summer dusk into a walled garden. The light is the soft warm gold of an hour before sunset. The hour painters call the golden hour because everything it touches becomes more itself. The garden is old. You can tell, because the stones in the walls are weathered, soft at the edges from decades of rain. Climbing roses spill over the top of the walls. The paths are crushed gravel, pale, with low borders of lavender and rosemary. A small fountain runs somewhere. You hear it before you see it. In the center of the garden is a long wooden table. There are candles on it just being lit. There are bowls of fruit. There are sprigs of herbs in small clay jugs. There is bread on a wooden board, still warm. There is an old guitar leaned against a chair, waiting for whoever knows how to play it. There is no one here yet. You are early. You are also expected. This is your garden. You did not always know that, but tonight you do. You walk slowly along the paths. You let your hand brush against the lavender, and you feel the cool oil of it on your fingers. You bring your fingers to your nose and inhale slowly. The smell is older than your life. The smell is the same in every century. Your great-grandmother knew this exact smell. Her great-grandmother did too. Some things in the world are continuous across all the generations, and lavender at dusk in late summer is one of them. You sit down at the long table. The wood is warm from the day. There is no rush for anyone to arrive. The garden itself is enough. The candles are enough. The smell of warm bread is enough. The sound of the fountain is enough. This is the work of a Venus Mahadasha. Slow setting of the table. Slow lighting of the candles. Slow remembering that being alive in a body, in a garden in late summer, is not a problem to be solved. It is a feast to be attended. 20 years of attending the feast. There is a second image worth holding tonight, alongside the garden. Picture an old perfumer, working alone in a small atelier on a quiet street. The walls are lined with hundreds of small glass bottles. Each bottle holds a single note. Rose absolute, sandalwood from Mysore, vetiver root, tuberose, iris root that has been aging for 10 years in a clay jar, bergamot, oak moss. The atelier smells of all of these at once, but quietly, layered, like an orchestra tuning before a concert. The perfumer is making a single perfume. She has been working on it for 2 years. Today she will add one more drop of one ingredient, smell the result on a small strip of paper, and then wait 3 more days to smell it again. Most days she does not add anything. Most days she just smells. You ask her, in the way you sometimes speak in dreams, why it takes so long. She smiles without looking up. She says, the perfume must teach me what it wants to become. I do not impose. I listen. I add only when I am very sure. You also see, in the dream way, that she is making this perfume only for one person. A friend who is going through a hard year. The perfume, when finished, will smell like the safe rooms of that friend's childhood, transposed forward into a kind of grown-up courage. Her friend will wear it on the days she needs to remember she is loved. The perfumer is not famous. She will not get rich. She does not care. The slow listening to one perfume across 2 years is its own reward. The friendship is its own reward. The act of making something this carefully for one person with no expectation of credit is exactly the kind of activity Venus is enrolling you in. By the end of a Venus Mahadasha, the things you make for the people you love, the slow daily acts of beauty no one applauds, the rooms you arrange just so, the meals you cook with care, the small handwritten notes, the carefully chosen gifts, do not feel like sacrifice. They feel like the most natural use of your hours. This is one of Venus's quietest gifts. The arrival of devotion as a daily art. The recognition that beauty is not decoration. Beauty is how love becomes visible. In the first phase of Venus Mahadasha, in roughly the first 3 or 4 years, the senses begin to wake up. Food starts tasting more vivid. You start choosing fruit at the market more carefully, holding it, smelling it the way an older person does. Music finds you at unexpected hours. You hear a song in a cafe and you stand still for a moment because something in your chest has loosened. Light at certain hours catches you. You start photographing your kitchen window in the morning, or your street in the rain, not for anyone, just because the seeing of it asks you to record it. This phase often feels like a kind of return, as if a part of you that had been quietly asleep has stretched and walked into the kitchen, looking around, smiling. Many people in this phase take up old creative practices they had abandoned. Painting again, writing poems no one will read, cooking from scratch on a weeknight, learning an instrument they always wanted to play. The first phase is also where relationships begin to deepen. Old friendships are watered. New ones arrive through unexpected doors. You find yourself drawn to people who are beautiful in a new sense of the word. It means alive. It means honest. It means in love with something. The company you keep slowly shifts toward the kinds of people who are also being shaped by Venus. In the second phase, in roughly years 4 through 8, the cultivation of skill begins. The senses, now awake, are no longer satisfied with passive reception. They want to make. The painter who started in phase 1 now joins a small studio. The home cook studies a tradition deeply. The amateur musician finds a teacher. The gardener learns the names of 200 plants. Venus is not interested in talent. Venus is interested in devotion. This phase often comes with a quiet pride. You begin to be the person in the room who can identify the herb in the dish, who can name the composer of the piece playing in the cafe, who can read the brushwork of a painter at a glance. None of this is for showing off. It is the natural sediment of years of attention. The world is becoming more legible to you in the language of beauty. In the third phase, in roughly years 8 through 12, love itself comes forward as the central curriculum. This may be a romantic partnership that deepens past anything you have known before. It may be a marriage that survives a hard season and comes out softer on the other side. It may be a friendship that becomes a kind of marriage in everything but name. It may be a love for a place. It may be a love for a community of practice. It may be the long, patient love of a parent for a child as the child becomes a teenager and then, slowly, a young adult. Whatever shape it takes, the third phase teaches you what love actually is, beneath the romance and beneath the conditioning. Love is paying attention for a long time without getting bored. Love is staying when the early excitement fades and the actual person becomes visible. Love is the slow discipline of choosing the same person, the same place, the same practice on 1,000 ordinary mornings, even when something newer and shinier passes by. Venus, in this phase, is teaching you the architecture of devotion. It is not glamorous. It is the deepest thing. In the fourth phase, in roughly years 12 through 16, the artist in you matures. By now, whatever practice you began in phase 1 and deepened in phase 2 has become a real part of who you are. Other people have started to seek out what you make. Younger people start to ask you how you do what you do. You are, without ever having aimed for it, one of the elders in some small community. The mastery surprises you. From the inside, it still feels like the same patient daily practice. From the outside, it looks like an authority you did not know you had. This is the phase where Venus, the longest of the teachers, reveals her central paradox. The deepest mastery in the realm of beauty is not technique. It is reverence. The most refined artist is the one who is the most humble before the medium. The most beautiful gardener is the one who is most willing to let the garden teach her. The most loved partner is the one who is most willing to be surprised by the other person, even after 20 years. Mastery in Venus is not control. Mastery in Venus is the absence of the need to control. In the fifth and final phase, in years 16 through 20, generosity becomes the keynote. The harvest of all those years of cultivation now begins to want to be shared. You teach, you host, you give away your time, your attention, your craft, your small good meals, your beautiful rooms. The young arrive at your door, sometimes literally, sometimes through their work, and you have something to offer them that you did not have when you were their age. The patience to listen, the clarity to see what they are actually asking, the warmth that does not ask to be repaid. Venus does not announce the end of her Mahadasha. She simply hands you, quietly, the sense that you have been deeply fed and have plenty to share. The next teacher takes over. They meet someone who has been ripened. 20 years of slow petals opening. 20 years of patient devotion. 20 years of becoming a person whose home is a place other people want to be. There is something I want to say before we move towards sleep. If you are inside your Venus Mahadasha right now, please hear this. You are allowed to enjoy it. You are allowed to spend a Saturday in the garden. You are allowed to cook a long, slow meal for one beloved friend. You are allowed to take an afternoon to sit by the window and read a book of poems. The pleasure is not a distraction from your life. The pleasure is the curriculum. Many people enter a Venus period and feel guilty about the softness of it. They were taught, somewhere along the way, that suffering is the only honest path, and that anything sweet must be paid for. Venus disagrees gently and persistently for 2 decades until you finally believe her. The sweetness is not a debt. The sweetness is a gift you are being trained to receive. Receiving, by the way, is much harder than giving. Most people who arrive in a Venus Mahadasha have been giving for a long time. They are good at it. They are not used to being on the other side of the table. Venus slowly teaches them. She seats them at the long candlelit table. She pours their wine. She places the warm bread in front of them. She says, "Eat. You have been feeding everyone for years. Tonight you eat. Tonight you let yourself be loved without earning it." The body works differently during a Venus Mahadasha. Many people sleep more deeply. The skin softens. The shoulders finally stop trying to hold the world up. There is a kind of physical opening that happens, a small daily relaxing of muscles that had been clenched for years without being noticed. Honor this. The body is doing real work. It is unlearning a lifetime of bracing. The relationships you make in this period will be some of the most important of your life. Some of them will last forever. Some of them will not. Both kinds are valuable. Venus teaches that even the loves that end are not failures. They were exact while they lasted. They taught you something specific about the shape of your own heart. Honor them. Release them gently when their season ends. Do not curse the gift because it had a closing date. You are not behind. You are exactly on time. The Venus Mahadasha arrives when you are ripe enough to receive it, not when you feel ripe. Venus does not ask. Venus pours the wine and slides the glass across the table. That is all that is required. Lifting the glass. The wine does the rest. There is one more thing worth saying tonight, about what Venus asks of you in plain words beneath all the metaphor. Venus asks you to slow down enough to taste your own life. Most of life rewards speed and output. Most of the metrics you are measured by have nothing to do with beauty. Venus asks you to step out of that frame, just for these 20 years, and ask what it actually feels like to be alive in your particular body, in your particular kitchen, in your particular hour of the day. The answer is almost always more interesting than you remembered. Venus asks you to take pleasure seriously. Not pleasure as escape, not pleasure as numbing. Pleasure as information. The food you crave, the music you return to, the colors you cannot stop arranging on a shelf, the people whose faces you never tire of, are not random preferences. They are the topography of your soul. Venus asks you to read that topography with respect and to live in alignment with it. Venus asks you to love particular things particularly. Not love in general. Not love as concept. Love this person, this dog, this view from this window, this hour of this Tuesday. The general love is easy. The particular love is harder, because the particular things are imperfect and inconvenient and sometimes break your heart. Venus is not interested in the easy love. Venus is interested in the love that knows the names of things and loves them anyway. And Venus asks you to make. Not for a market, not for an audience, for the joy of the making. Cook, sing, plant, write. Decorate the small corners of your home. Put flowers on the table for no occasion. Send the handwritten card. Light the candle on a Tuesday. Wear the perfume that makes you feel like yourself. The making is not optional. The making is how Venus passes through you into the world. If you refuse to make, the energy of the Mahadasha has nowhere to go, and it gets restless. If you let it through, you become a small, reliable conduit of beauty, and the people around you are quietly fed. Let me name a few of the gifts that arrive at the end of a Venus Mahadasha. Not the costs. The costs are well known. The gifts are quieter and need to be named. The first gift is the open heart. By the end of the Mahadasha, your capacity for tenderness will be larger than it was when you began. Not naive, not unguarded, just larger. You will love more easily, more accurately, and more without conditions. This widening, once installed, never leaves. It is the warm room at the center of every later season. The second gift is reverence for craft. Before the Mahadasha, you may have valued results. After the Mahadasha, you value the slow, patient making. You can sit in front of a piece of pottery and see the hours of attention that produced it. You can listen to a song and hear the years of practice. This perception, once acquired, makes the world richer. Almost everything humans have made becomes more interesting, because you can read the labor of love inside it. The third gift is the ability to receive. Most adults are quietly bad at receiving. They deflect compliments. They refuse help. They will not let anyone cook for them. After Venus, you can sit at the long candlelit table and let the meal be brought to you. You can take the kindness without flinching. This is one of the most underrated skills in adult life, and Venus alone teaches it well. The world becomes softer when you can let yourself be fed. The fourth gift is devotion as a daily art. Before the Mahadasha, daily life may have felt like maintenance. After the Mahadasha, daily life feels like a series of small reverent acts. The morning coffee is a small ceremony. The folded laundry is a small ceremony. The phone call to your mother is a small ceremony. Nothing is bigger than it was, but everything is more itself. This is the deep magic of Venus. She does not require you to leave your life. She simply makes your life more alive. The fifth gift is discrimination between true and false beauty. After 20 years of cultivation, you can no longer be fooled by surface. You see when something is performing beauty rather than being beautiful. You see when a room is decorated rather than loved. You see when a relationship is marketed rather than lived. This discrimination is not cynical. It is the natural result of having spent 20 years watching beauty up close. You stop wasting your evenings on the false ones, and the true ones get more of your time. The sixth gift is generosity that does not deplete. There is a kind of giving that empties the giver. There is another kind of giving that fills both the giver and the one who receives. Venus teaches you the second kind. By the end of the Mahadasha, you can host without exhaustion, give without resentment, love without keeping score. The well does not run dry because you have learned how to be replenished by the giving itself. The seventh and final gift is the peace of having loved well. After Venus, you can look back at the previous 20 years and see a continuous thread of devotion. The relationships you tended, the meals you made, the rooms you arranged, the skills you cultivated, the friendships that deepened, the small daily reverences that no one but you witnessed. These do not look small from the vantage of the 20th year. They look like a life. They look like the actual texture of being a person on Earth. Venus alone gives this, the recognition that the small particular loves were the point all along. So tonight, as you let this episode carry you towards sleep, set the work down. The garden will keep. The table is set. The candles are lit. There is no one Venus needs you to be tonight except a person resting in a soft bed at the end of an ordinary day. Breathe in slowly through the nose, and out slower still through soft lips. Breathe in, and out. You are safe. You are held. You are exactly on time. If your Venus Mahadasha is ahead of you, you are being prepared. The version of you that will sit at the candlelit table is being made now, in the small daily attentions you barely notice. If you are inside it now, you are being ripened. The ripening is not a distraction. It is the curriculum. Trust the slow opening. Trust the deepening of your taste. Trust that the things you find beautiful are telling you who you are. If your Venus Mahadasha is behind you, you are already richer than you know. Look at your life now and see what was tended. The friendships, the rooms, the skills, the way you can taste a meal slowly, the way you can sit by a window without needing anything else. That was Venus. You earned it the only way Venus lets you earn anything, by being patient enough to let yourself be fed. Let me leave you with a few quiet truths. You don't have to remember them. Let them just pass through. You are allowed to enjoy your life. Enjoyment is not a distraction from depth. You are allowed to make beautiful things for no reason. The making is the reason. You are allowed to be loved without earning it. The love is the gift. You are allowed to spend an afternoon in the garden. The garden counts. You are allowed to receive. Receiving is the harder discipline. You are allowed to set the work down for one night. The garden will be there tomorrow. It always is. There is nothing you need to figure out before you fall asleep. The candles in the garden have burned low. The fountain is still running. The bread on the table will keep. Tomorrow, the morning star will rise before the sun, the way she has every morning of every century. And you will wake into another day in which beauty is still available to anyone slow enough to notice it. Let the breath get smaller. Let the room get further away. Let this voice fade into the soft hum behind it. Notice the weight of your body in the bed, the temperature of the sheets, the soft sound of your own breathing, the dark, steady night holding the whole house, the dark, steady sky holding the whole house, the whole street, the whole city. You are safe. You are held. You are loved by something older than your accomplishments. The sweetness is not a flaw. The pleasure is not a punishment in disguise. The 20 years are not happening to you. They are happening for you. Rest now. Let the breath get smaller still. Let your face soften. Let your eyelids feel heavy. Let the small muscles around your jaw release. Let your hands release. Let your feet release. Let the part of you that has been arranging the world for so many days release just for tonight, into the bed and into the dark. You are the gardener. You are also the garden. You are also the long candlelit table at which others will one day sit. You are everything Venus is making, and you are also already whole before any of the making has been done. Both things can be true. They are. Imagine, just for a moment, the garden after dark. The guests have gone home. The candles have burned to soft small flames. The fountain still runs, quietly, as it will all night. The roses on the wall are closed for the evening. The garden does not need you to tend it tonight. The garden tends itself when the gardener sleeps. So can you. If at some point in the night you stir, and feel an old worry rise up about whether you are giving enough or making enough or being enough, greet it gently. Tell it, the candles are lit, the bread is on the table, that is sufficient. Then turn over. The worry is just a passenger on the slow train of 20 years. Can rest too. You have lit enough candles today. 20 years of cultivation is built out of nights exactly like this one. The harvest, when it comes, will be the gentle arithmetic of all these patient nights. May your sleep be deep. May your dreams be kind. May the morning find you softer and more open, in whatever combination your soul most needs. Good night, friend. Good night.